We'll start with this Fox News alert. The FBI is offering a big reward for information regarding a protester who appeared to fire a gun at federal agents during a California immigration raid yesterday.
Jackie Heinrich joins us live from the White House. Good morning, Jackie.
Good morning to you guys. The FBI is offering $50 grand to anyone who helps them identify and convict a protester who allegedly fired a gun at federal immigration officers. That moment was captured by local news cameras. Federal immigration officers were carrying out a raid with a search warrant at a Southern California marijuana facility. Hundreds of protesters swarmed that area despite warnings from the U.S. attorney, who told them not to interfere or they'd be charged with a federal offense. There were no reports of any injuries, but the video appears to show that man shooting a pistol at law enforcement agents. California Governor Gavin Newsom tried to politicize the moment, posting kids running from tear gas, crying on the phone because their mother was just taken from the fields. Trump calls me new scum, but he's the real scum. The CBP Commissioner Rodney Scott replied to that, saying, here's some breaking news. 10 juveniles were found at this marijuana facility, all illegal aliens, 8 of them unaccompanied. It's now under investigation for child labor violations. This is Newsom's California. Authorities are sounding the alarm that escalating anti-ICE rhetoric could carry deadly consequences. But California Democratic Senator Alex Padilla is defending his proposal that would mandate ICE wear visible identification and ban them from concealing their faces during most operations, posting to X, in a democracy, no one should have to guess if they're being handcuffed by real law enforcement or armed imposters. My bill defends against unchecked power and unconstitutional overreach. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons tells Fox he doesn't love the masks, but they're necessary right now.
If you looked at the beginning of this administration, you looked even in December, November last year, we weren't wearing masks. ICE agents weren't wearing masks because they weren't afraid of their information being doxxed, their photos taken, addresses posted. While I'm not a fan of the masks, I think we could do a better, but we need to protect our agents and officers, and I fully support them in that.
DHS says ICE agents have faced a near 700% increase in assaults recently, Griff.
All right, Jackie, thank you very much. And let's just put this in perspective for our viewers. The first 10 days of July have been an absolutely unprecedented assault on federal immigration officers in a way we've never really seen before. As we know, those assaults are up 700%. Let's start on July 1st. Matthew White, an individual in Buffalo, arrested and charged with threatening to kill an ICE officer, writing on social media, "Kill them all. ICE is the new age Gestapo." Get us to July 4th. In Alvarado, Texas, 10 individuals facing first-degree murder charges of a federal immigration officer, while an 11th individual is on the run. A manhunt is out for him, a $25,000 reward because that attack involved AR-style rifles, body armor, and two-way radios. An officer was shot in the neck, recovering thankfully. You got Monday, July 7th, down in McAllen, Texas, a Border Patrol annex, an individual, a barrage of bullets fired from an AR-style rifle. Border Patrol fortunately able to neutralize that and killed the individual, but raising security concerns at all Texas Border Patrol facilities. July 8th, the next day, Senate Democrats don't read the room on the threats to federal immigration officers, and you have Senator Cory Booker and Alex Padilla dropping legislation to force ICE agents to take their masks off, putting them and their families at greater risk of being doxxed. Same day, 4 arrested in Van Nuys, California, literally putting tire spikes down to disable ICE vehicles because they oppose a lawful federal immigration operation. Also on the same day in San Francisco, you've got protesters violently confronting ICE officials and officers trying to take into custody the criminal illegal aliens that had been marked for deportation, just carrying out the laws Washington passed, but yet they violently are getting in the way. And then, of course, what we've all been watching all morning long out in Camarillo, California, a major raid. Those agents were being pelted with rocks, assaulted, fireworks, and the one individual that appears to fire a handgun at ICE officers. And guys, the part of this story that's just heart-wrenching is that there were 8 unaccompanied minors that had somehow been trafficked into this situation, a total of 10 juveniles, 8 unaccompanied, that were apprehended in this raid out in California.
I mean, this makes me so mad. I don't know how anyone could take in what you just walked us through. And especially looking at, potential labor, what they did with these children, the 8 unaccompanied minors, the 10 children that were found on this marijuana farm, and conclude that law enforcement is the problem,
right,
that ICE is the problem in this country, or ICE agents are hero, as are all law enforcement officers. Just recently, they nabbed an MS-13 kingpin who is wanted for 5 murders in El Salvador, and on its top 100 most wanted list. You had Attorney General Pam Bondi at the end of last month announced that federal authorities had arrested 2,700 Tren de Aragua gang members. I'm sorry, the people who are out there arresting and deporting those people, they are the heroes, not the villains, yet the Democrats see them as the villains, not the heroes.
And Border Czar Tom Homan was with us the last hour, and he talked about those unaccompanied minors found at the weed farm.
It certainly upsets me, and like I said, you know, the work men and women of ICE are doing is incredible. Look, we're looking for over 300,000 missing children. We've already found 10,000. Have you heard that anywhere? No, the media is simply not covering it. And look, this should be a nonpartisan issue. Arresting public safety threats and national security threats, everybody be on the same page on that. Rescuing children, I mean, it should be a nonpartisan issue. Everybody should be in lockstep on that, but they're not. The media is lying. The Democrats they don't want President Trump to be successful. I got news for them. We are being successful. Every illegal alien public safety threat we arrest makes this country safer. Every national security threat we take off the street and deport makes us safer. And we're rescuing thousands of children. The lives saved every day by ICE, the lives saved every day by Border Patrol, you know, are in the hundreds. So the only thing I can think of, Griff, if they hate President Trump more than they love their community.
So you're talking about a situation where you have these ICE officials trying to solve a human catastrophe that was entirely caused by Democrat politicians over the past 4 or 5 years. You have an investigation into child slavery, and then you have actual, as you went through, violence being committed against officers who are sworn to uphold the law and enforce the laws, including ICE agents being fired at. And you have Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, who many Democrats view as the top person who could potentially run against, get the party's nomination in 2028. Condemning the officers and condemning those trying to enforce the law. That's the situation where, you know, the rest of the country has moved on to trying to enforce the law, but that's where the Democrat Party is stuck.
And you can't underscore the part about where Tom Homan was talking about rescuing these children. Gavin Newsom and all the Democrats need to remember, we can show you back a couple years ago in McAllen, by the way, the same city where we had that attack on the Border Patrol, these children that were trafficked across the border unaccompanied. You can see here, I'm with Texas DPS. That boy was 6 years old with nothing but a little card around his neck with a name and a phone number of someone to contact. He was literally, we found him in the early hours just walking across, terrified. You know, the rescue of the 8 unaccompanied minors in Camarillo, California, these are the most vulnerable individuals that were caught up in a chaos of the Biden administration, and now out there, how many more are out there as ICE tries to carry out
because it's not about the kids, it's about protecting criminals. That's what the Democrat Party is about. I mean, that's exactly what's happening. That's what it's about. It's about protecting criminals. It's about going to El Salvador for people like Gilmore Abrego Garcia and for, you know, shielding Tren de Aragua, not about protecting American citizens.
It's all about them maintaining their power.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe's YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.